And hello.
Hello, here we are. I'm Szara.
And I'm Helen, and together
We're committed
we're
parenting.
parenting. Woo!
And what we're up to around here, families get to thrive, families get to be connected, children heard, and
Parents
parents,
feel are satisfied. Mhm.
yeah, parents have power.
Mhm.
So every Monday to Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, Helen and I are coming here live to have a conversation. Any kind of conversation that supports families thriving.
Mm.
And so each day it's going to have a couple of different intentions. And so the invitation is to come join at 12:30, like right now,
Mhm.
with a cup of tea or a cup of your favorite beverage, and pause, stop, and take a moment to say,
Mhm.
"Hi, what's there for me right now? What's
Yeah.
going on?" And get present and be with
It,
each other in a conversation.
it really is the opportunity to stop for a moment, right?
Mm-hmm. So today, Helen and I were just talking before we came on about, what's happening over with each of our families. And I'm in love with what Helen did yesterday. I actually want her to talk all about it because I'm
Okay.
taking this on.
Oh, so yesterday, so you may or may not know that my oldest kid has been away and he got home safely on Sunday. And we've all been waiting for him. And I had a kind of things up my sleeve that we were thinking about. But what we actually created yesterday was a conversation. So you want to know that he sat in the door, and the rest of us sat in the lounge.
Because
And
he's on quarantine.
he's on quarantine. He needs to be quarantined for 14 days. There's nothing wrong with him. Sorry, he doesn't have any symptoms of anything, and we have a rule that he is to be quarantined. And so what we created yesterday was a conversation, and in fact, it started with Adrian and I. We started looking that we have this opportunity to be home, and what is there that we want to create. And what I noticed is when I don't say stuff, I start to get resentful. And so one of the things was we were really looking at how we're going to create our days so we felt like we're actually, I don't know, it's not being productive, but that we actually knew ourselves as satisfied at the end of the day, that we didn't like get to
Mm.
the end of the day and then feel like, I didn't really achieve anything or I didn't get anything done that I wanted and I just feel draggy about it. So Adrian and I created the structure of like every day we're going to check in at 4:30. What is there what have we done this day and what is there to take on for the next day? And in that, what came up, and we also, by the way, had a couple of calls from kids, two of our kids are in school, and we had a couple of calls from the teachers who are really interested in making a difference for the kids. It was a whole experience of the care and love that these teachers have for our kids was unbelievable to me. But there was stuff they really wanted them to not like be put on them, not laid on them in any way, but that this was really an opportunity to develop something there. And when Ada and I sat and talked for a moment, we really we really heard that what there was to do is to create a family meeting. And we got out our big whiteboards and we started brainstorming. And what we created is so say between now and the time they could possibly go back to school, September 1st on this side of the world, what is it that they wanted to get up to, right? In these 5 months, they have this freedom to create 5 months. So, what would it look like September 1st? So, we have crazy things like that the dog gets its nails clipped and gets a bath. We have stuff like we really want to go camping. We have stuff like languages. My one kid wants to learn German, the others want to be semi fluent in some Spanish. We had stuff like we want to go and eat at one of our favorite places here called Redfish Bluefish. It's like this little it's in a container on the harbor on the wharf, and you go line up in this epic line, and they make you really great food. But that's like a highlight. One of our kids wants to go and get food from there, and I'm just trying to think. There were other things. I've got to put my glasses on. The board's on the other side of the room. Oh, I want to go. There's this one beach here that at low tide you can explore tide pools, and I just want to do that. And my kids want to have birthday parties, however that looks over the summer. One of them wants to work out, but you can hear, oh, one of them wants to color their hair. I want to garden, but you can hear we just brainstormed ideas of what we wanted to get done. And there was no poo pooing any idea. It was just whatever you want, stick it up. And my board looks like a crazy place, and all these ideas. And then what we really looked at is what would it take for us to fulfill on that? So we really created who would we know ourselves as at the end of those if we're standing in September and we did some of the stuff, how would we know ourselves? And everybody created stuff, even the little one. She was amazing. She said she wanted to be focused and intentional to get stuff done. And I'm like, she's 10. I'm like, huh? She says, I'm already focused, but there's something missing. What's missing is being intentional with being focused. I'm like, seriously, my kid blows me away. Do you know what I'm saying? But you just like, you get to have this. Okay, that's the part I'm not saying. I got to have this experience of being with my family, like unadulterated being with them and hearing them.
Mm. And that's what I love. Like that's what I so hear is such value. Like like having this moment that you created and carved out created to
Mm,
sit with your whole family and having them get related to each other, like what kind of things do excite them and that they do like what are their variety of interests, and then to actually like capture it, like
mm,
like what they said mattered, like like it's
mm,
captured, it's there. There's like now not just them wanting to have it happen, they have the whole family pulling for each other having their things happen. It's like
really does.
it's just such connection.
Mm,
it's
it
it's
really
um
was.
like it's really like a demonstration of families thriving. And I can just see such value of that conversation. And just even like I just so heard in like your sharing, why I got so lit up about it is like the value of conversation. Like
Mm,
it's so underestimated,
mm,
like we can have automatic passing conversation as we just walk by each other, or like a quick check-in, or a even a one-on-one conversation, which can be really valuable. But like the coming together as a family, all sitting around there and being in conversation about anything together, like anything is amazing in value. And then just being in a conversation, like I hear, there's multiple ways you can take this and utilize this in your family.
mm,
It's like depending of where your family's at, like where your family's at, because you have been in a lot of conversation where people are at and what they might be dealing with or what's already there, that conversation is already ongoingly happening. So then when you came together as a family, you could really meet and
mm.
create, like everybody was in the space of creating.
And in fact, we'd set that up, and that's what I think you're pointing to on two levels. The one is like you can use any conversation to actually create like what needs to be said in a moment, right?
Hmm.
And this conversation was really intentionally set up. We actually got to all the kids and created, listen, we want to have this conversation. Come be free to be, and we're going to meet at 5 o'clock, be here. But there was really an intentionality about it, which I
Hmm.
think I sometimes
It
wish,
sets them up powerfully for it. Like it really
yeah,
sets them up powerfully. It gets them thinking about it. It gets them like, if there is any thoughts or concerns or anything in the way, they have a chance to
to
say
say,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this really loudly. Adrian and I had already created this together, that this is something we wanted for us as a
Hmm.
family. So there was already partnership present.
Mm.
And it wasn't one of us driving. It was us being this together, and how do we create this then as a family together? And I'm not
Hmm.
saying you could do it any different. I'm not saying there's not different ways to do it, but I just
Oh
know
yeah.
the
Those are the
power
key
of what
elements that really like
yeah.
set it up powerfully. Those are
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
key
Hmm.
pieces that had it be effective.
Yeah.
And
And then there was one more part that I absolutely loved, and I'm going to have to put my glasses back on, but we actually took on, so how's it going to happen? Because the conversation there became, oh, it's so great. We've created all this stuff, and oh, we know ourselves this way. But then it was really evident that there was a piece missing, and that was the structure piece. How do we actually get it to happen, right? And so, like, part of it was my one kid said, I really want us to go back to having meals together because that's a great place to check in because we've started to, everybody's eating at slightly different times. And we're not like sitting together. And she was like, when we have meals together, we often, that's our natural check-in time, right? And I'd really love that. But but it was stuff like, oh, how about we play headbands? And part of it is like, part of your headbands game is like, what have you done? I don't know how this is all going to work, but it was just the creativity in creating these kind of structures. They wanted accountability partners, and they wanted to, what they were saying, what my littlest said is, when you notice that somebody is not actually like engaged with what they said they wanted to be doing, I'm actually going to come to you and say, hey, you're not actually engaged in what you said you were up to. So can you tell me what's going on? This is the 10-year-old. I'm like, seriously, they cracked me up, right? And then one of the suggestions, I think it actually came from Adrian, is like actually to have like a bowl with all the things you want to do in there, and then pull it out pull one piece of paper out with that, whatever it is, and then ask everybody, okay, so who do you vote this thing belongs to? This idea that they want to create. Whose is this? So that you actually remember it and you're present to it. Okay. And then who does it belong to? It's that thing you were talking about earlier. Like having people be related to what they wanted, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you as a group then accountable for it. And there's a whole bunch more. Like we want to do some special events and some baking. But it was oh, and then the biggest structure we created is Adrian had this idea. He'd been listening to something that if he has a list that there are 5 things in a day he gets done, that he can be good at the end of the day. And if he hasn't achieved them, well, then there's something to look at and what's he going to do tomorrow to have those 5 things. And he created that with the kids, and the kids are all really engaged with this. I only have to achieve 3 things today. These are the 3 things. And it doesn't have to be, the heavy things. It can be literally like, remember to brush my teeth today, right? Oh, I did that. Okay. And then the other thing they created is they would spend 2 2-hour blocks in the day working on stuff. And we have check-in times for it. So it's brand new. Some people's check-in time has come and gone at 12, and so I checked in with them. And one of them had completed everything, and one was still working on some stuff, right? But it was just
Mm.
this power that they had to go off and create, like how they're going to use their time, and not heavy and onerous, like a real buy-in from them.
Yeah. Like what I hear is like it was really personally created. Like it was theirs. Like that's what I love about this whole thing too. Because like in where everyone is adult, child, any age that you're
Hmm.
at, there's like a sense of we don't have a lot of say in the matter.
Hmm.
There really is a sense of
Yeah.
we don't know how this is going. We don't know when things are going to end or be open or
Hmm.
come back or what it's going to look like. And there's like a bit of a swirl around all that.
Hmm.
And you can get caught up in that uncertainty and not knowing, and it can have people be anxious or shut down or frozen as a reaction to
Hmm.
that. And I
Hmm.
love the mechanism here of like, okay, like there's a lot of things we don't know over here, and like you still have a say, like
Hmm.
what's important to you, like here you are, and what lights you up, what are you interested in, what do you need, what do you want. And like it's just such a vessel for each person in the family to have a voice in the matter and like be self creating, like
Hmm.
really like the like that empowerment, like the personal empowerment
Yeah.
to declare and say what you're up to. And then also like I love it, yeah, like to even I love too that you didn't just lay on structures, they speculated structures. Like, and
Yeah.
from the wild and crazy, it sounds like in awesome ways, like headband games and all stuff. Like, and to try it on, like it's not like it doesn't have to be set
Hmm.
firmly now and this is it forever. It's
Yeah.
like this is something we're trying on and we're moving with and dancing with and like adjusting and fine tuning and like yeah, it's like it really gives a place to come from for the whole family, and there's personal empowerment that's available.
And the other thing that just in what you're creating, what I heard when you were speaking, is that everybody, like, it's not like somebody has more accountability than the other. So everybody got to be like, I'm going to contribute to you in this way. I don't know if I'm saying that really clearly, but I really heard that in Illa's sharing is like, she was like, I get to then be part of this, and I can say to you, hey, I really noticed this isn't going like how you wanted it to go. I
Hmm.
don't know. There's
Like it's
something
a
really
chance to have each other's
powerful.
backs, like such a
That's
chance.
it.
Because like if you look in a family, like what makes a family, right? Like what really, like I know for myself, it's like, and everybody's going to have possibly different answers for that. And I hear for myself, it's like what I value most is it's like we all are partners. Like there's this
Mm,
camaraderie. There's this we're all out to each other to win, or at
yeah.
least like in the family thrive sense. That's where it is. It doesn't always occur that way. But like there is this like the blood is thicker than water kind of expressions that always go around, right? Like there's that have your backness and they get a
Mm.
chance to actually be that expression, right?
But
Because often we don't know how we can actually have each other's backs.
and I just want to put one thing in. I want to be really clear. This is a created family.
Yeah.
Some of these people that I'm talking about are blood, right? And I
Yes.
bore them. But not all of the people in this conversation are.
Ab-
Yeah. And I just want
Absolutely.
to be really clear about that. This is about being a created family. This isn't
Yeah.
about Like, oh, we're thrusting this together and making it work somehow. This is actually choosing to be family.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like in that choosing, like saying like this is our family. It's
Hmm.
like we also say like we are family and we're here for each
Mm,
other.
exactly. Yeah. I
And
just,
and
I
to,
don't, yeah, I just want to offer that, right?
yeah. And that you create your family like wherever you are and whoever like who is with you because like I know over here with my family it looks really different.
Mm,
You know, my younger two boys are here.
mhm,
And my older three boys are currently not, and one or two might come back over here. You know, like it might be kind of an ebb and flow and some movement happening as
mhm,
well. And,
mhm,
you know, or for a while we had, for a month we had um, a totally a girlfriend of somebody that was over
mhm,
here in the family and that was part of
mhm,
family. And so like
mhm,
it can look any way, and it is family
mhm,
is a creation. We
mhm,
get to define it.
mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
And so it
But I
means,
love it.
yeah.
Like what you're creating, like I just hear the opportunity of coming together in conversation and
Mm,
creating like without like the agenda, right? Like there's an intention, but like it's not the parent, like you know, it's not like you parent don't have to drive this. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to know what there is to do or put together. um you know, let our kids, let the
mm,
family, let each person have part of that creating, each person have part of bringing that conversation over where they are and starting to look for themselves of what would what would have me satisfied at the end of each day, what would have me satisfied at the end of, you know, 3 4 5 months or back when
mhm,
if I'm going back to school in September, what would have me satisfied at the end of next month. And for them to do that looking, like I just hear the value of like the teachable moment in that,
mm,
right? Because one thing I've been noticing with my kids in general outside of this conversation is I've been noticing how much myself as a mom, I have it like it's my job to provide them their satisfaction and fulfillment. Like it's
mm,
my job
yes,
to entertain them. It's
mm,
my job to, you know, have them happy at the end of the day.
mhm,
And I think a lot of parents go there. Like it is like it's my job. And there's such, and I'm noticing that then they're never looking where they are of like
mm,
actually no, it's their job.
mm,
You know, like imagine if they had that context in life. Like actually it is my job to be satisfied and fulfilled at the end of the day. Like the work's over here with me. If I want to be satisfied and fulfilled, you know, I'm responsible for that.
mm,
And like it's such a teachable moment, right, of like
mm,
bridging that, of
mm,
like we have their back and we're partners in that, and we're, you know, we want that for them. Their
yes,
satisfaction fulfillment really matters to us parents.
mhm, mhm,
and and yet start to like, yeah, the teachable moment of them looking where they are to really get personal power
yeah,
and voice
yeah.
and autonomy to create that.
Yeah, I hear it in the world of agency, that they have agency.
Yeah, they have
Mhm,
agency.
mhm.
Yeah. So I just hear so many value, like so many things out of having this conversation, having, you
Yeah.
know, a family conversation of, you know, and it might start before you get to creating anything. It might first start by like, depending of where you know, how much communication your family's been having about what people are dealing with. It might just start at square one of like, hi, here we are all together. Hi, what's going on for you right now?
Mhm.
You know, like,
Actually getting that all up on the table and honestly, yeah, getting it all out, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's such value. Like I hear for myself, like that's where I'm really seeing the value could be right now is because I sometimes step over with the younger ones that, you know, they would have something coming up. It's like, oh, they
Mhm,
seem pretty happy and content. Like they
mhm,
seem fine. And it's just an assumption. It's just based
mhm,
on an assumption. It seems fine.
mhm,
But the value of really like coming in a family conversation of all of us together and even, you know, just all of us sharing, you know, what is right there?
mhm,
You know, what's different right now,
mhm.
or what's, is there anything you're dealing with or anything that's missing or anything that you want? And then through that a natural conversation of opening up of like, oh, what would you love to get up to, or, you know, what would you love to create in this time?
Yeah,
Naturally arises out of that if
it
that
really
conversation
does.
hasn't already happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's literally what you're saying. And you know, just the other thing that I wanted to say is I think I came in with a bit of agenda that I wanted like something output somewhere, you know? And it was really being with everybody that had me like not need to be like that. Actually being present to my family and what they actually like their natural inclination, their natural drive, their natural whatever is right there. right? And I want to drive like I'm supposed to look somewhere, and then actually being with them was like the opportunity to hear their own leadership arising. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's so beautiful, right? Like I think I have to drive something, and no, actually I don't. I mean, I'm going to be here to guide. I'm going to be part of the structure. I don't have to drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's funny because a lot of times, I put a lot more on my shoulders of what my responsibility is than it actually is. Like
Mm,
I need to have all the answers. I need to know what the solution is. I need to drive this. I need to direct them down the pathway. I need to know how to manage all the things that might come up along that pathway. And excuse me. And carrying that, it's
mm,
is really, yeah, the solo driving and a
mm.
missed opportunity of what could be available, and the teachable moments, like the
What I was
real,
just
like,
going to say, it really links back. So it's not like you're not being engaged and not having the moments created, right?
mhm.
And to be a partner and having that happen. But it's not like I need or you need or we as parents need to have all the answers.
Yeah. And that's like that, if you really look at like intention versus agenda, right? Like when we
Mm,
can come from that intention
mm,
of like being together in family, in communication, in a conversation, creating, that's a great intention. And when we come in it like it's got to look a certain way or this needs to be an outcome, you might want to just take a second look and see, am I driving anything here?
yeah, yeah.
I'm a
And
really good driver.
well, yeah, and the opportunity is to notice the driven. It's not, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because like
Yeah.
our inclination is to make it all wrong. No, actually, that's just what's there. And when we notice it, well, then actually we have a chance for something to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, like what I hear is like just even speaking to it, be like, oh, I notice I've just like, given everybody my opinion of how it should go. Hi guys, I want your opinion too. And just,
Yeah,
like being human about it.
yeah.
And yeah, lots of grace for ourselves
I
in it
think
all.
that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Is the
Yeah.
grace to actually be, however this is to be in that rather than,
Yeah, none of this has to look any certain way. The biggest thing I want everyone left here is, the intention of coming together as a family in a conversation
mm,
and be exactly where everyone's at and create what there is to create as it comes up. Like however that works and looks for your family with where you're at. Like just for each
mm,
person to get the value of coming together as a family in a conversation.
mm,
And the what's available is that connection. That
mm,
is that families thrive, kids get heard and parents have power. It's like really the foundation of what we're really up to.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd love to hear actually from you if you take this on, what gets created and if there's
Mm.
sticking points. Because I have one particular family in mind, and I know for them to be in a room together, it takes something. And I'm
Mm.
really curious, like, whether this is something that would work, and if you take it on, what your experience of it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I even hear in that kind of a situation, if there is a family that's out there, the acknowledgement of how it is goes a
mm,
long way. Of even
mm,
like the acknowledge, like sometimes being together as a family really takes something.
mm.
And acknowledging that to each person as we're creating it. Like, yeah, sometimes it really takes something for all of us to be together. And wow, let's just come together in a conversation and see what can happen coming together because we want to be related.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, be interesting.
And there's something too, I think, that I just heard in what you're creating. When we're actually out to have something, like create something, like that we as a family create, there's something available in there. There's a buy-in that I'm
Yeah.
hearing, really.
That bonding, that
Mm,
connection that really gets to happen, that to elevate it, expansion of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean, that you always have to be doing everything together. I really get it.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. And this meeting could be like literally a 5-10 minute round circle. And
Mm,
it could be a 3-4 hour event. It really can look a
yeah.
lot of different ways for each family and trying on a family conversation.
Mm,
And it might look like, hey, we're having meal times together and we're just having that conversation around a meal. It doesn't have to be okay at 7 o'clock. We are having a family meeting and everyone must be there. No, no, it doesn't have to look anything. It can be, as the everyone's around a table and a meal, bringing this conversation forward, like
mm-hmm,
getting curious and
mm-hmm.
related.
Yes. Yes, I love that, being curious and related. I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do want to hear from you. Like, what kind of family conversation did you have and create? What came out of that family conversation? Um, good, bad, and ugly, like any version of it, right? Like what got confronted by, what showed up that was amazing and beautiful,
Mm,
what new idea came out of it and forward. Like, we're really curious of what kind of conversations are happening with your family, and what you're creating inside of that.
mm. Yeah. Please share.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, please do. And I'm going to go off and have fun with my boys.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Until
Much
tomorrow.
love.
So again, Mondays to Friday, 12:30
12:30.
Pacific time, 12:30 Pacific time, Facebook Live. Grab a cup of tea or your favorite beverage and come and pause and be in this conversation of Families Thrive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay.
See you
Love you.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.